Hey Sioux Falls, Shannon Austin here. And during the prime of the wintertime, our public works folks are always busy with snow. But today we're going to take another look at maybe what they're doing when they're not pushing snow around. All right, well, our snow starts with the Streets Division of Public Works, and we welcome to the show Dustin Hanson. Dustin, welcome.
Thank you, Shannon.
So, at the very beginning of a potential of a snow event, when the National Weather Service says, on 3 days from now we're going to have snow, just kind of walk us through the first initial steps on how you get ready for the snow.
Yeah, so we're actually looking out a little bit further than 3 days.
Good.
Hopefully we've got a week or 2 weeks to kind of see that out.
Okay.
Obviously it's hard to predict for them the snow amounts, but when that 2 to 3 day sometimes they'll say another thing.
So the National Weather Service, we have always heard on the flooding events, Todd Heitkamp, is that who your main point of contact is?
Typically it's one of their meteorologists.
Okay, okay.
$133.3 pounds of methamphetamine while investigating 3,043 narcotics cases. Both of these were records.
High winds, but we'll kind of meet as a team, meet with the Director of Public Works, obviously notify all leadership within the city of Sioux Falls to kind of know when the best timing. And they also assist us on our emergency routes as well.
And we don't own those motor graders, right?
We do not, nope.
Okay. So walk us through the grader behind us. Walk us.
Resourced to effectively deal with them. The residents and visitors to our city are well served by the dedicated men and women of our department and of our public safety partners.
2-inch event like we had this past weekend.
Okay.
Once the snow gets a little bit heavier, then we do bring out the motor graders.
Okay.
And they'll actually do most of the heavy plowing.
And those have a blade that moves.
Talk about a very important issue to a lot of our residents, crime, and also the narcotics issue, which the chief alluded to. And people often do ask me, is Sioux Falls still safe? We don't feel safe, or we do feel safe, or we think it's still safe, we don't think it's safe. This community is incredibly safe. And the reassuring number that I always watch year after year is what's happened with violent crimes in our city. That's what we want to really keep an eye on. And as our chart indicates,
Biggest headaches is snow actually boiling over the side of those snow gates and putting a little bit extra in the driveways.
Sure.
And so that's one thing to remember, is that we're not going to clear your driveway.
% more methamphetamine seized this year than last year. And last year was about a 400% increase over the year before. So two ways to look at those numbers, and I choose to look at them as a very glass half full report. We have an incredible drug task force. We have an incredible narcotics crimes unit.
Right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have up to 150 to 175 people just from city employees working on a snow event.
Wow. So when your street folks are
Be lying if I didn't say the chief, the sheriff, others have been huge proponents of the triage center that we signed the bylaws on earlier this month. The PD and our community resource officer team who will work with folks struggling with mental illness, even addiction challenges. And so
You're welcome. Thank you, Shannon.
Well, our next stop is out here at the water maintenance shop. Well, we welcome to the show Darren McDonald. Welcome, Darren.
Thank you.
So we are going to talk briefly.
towards the end of last month, I also launched a large mentorship initiative. And there's a connection between crime and mentorship. And with some of the numbers that
What happens if a citizen sees water bubbling up from the street? Is that normally, I mean, how do you distinguish between a water main break and just melting snow?
Usually have 40 to 60 main breaks in the fall and the spring. We mainly have them in the fall and the spring when the frost goes into the ground and the frost comes out of the ground.
since 2016. Some of that has been dedicated to training. One thing that I've learned in the first 2 years in the chair as mayor is the amount of training.
Okay.
They can call the helpline too. We get a lot of calls for when we're on standby through the helpline.
So with the water main break, sometimes it's just a little dribble and sometimes it's a shooting, fountain of water. What do you normally see on a water main break?
Maybe depending if people catch it early, it can start out as a sometimes we just had a leak last Thursday. It was leaking 400 foot away downhill, and we have actually leak detection equipment, and our leak detection equipment helped us pinpoint it 400 foot away where the water was coming up, and we dug down and we came right down on the leak.
Okay. And do you normally have to go around and knock on doors telling people that their water is shut off?
Typically in the middle of the night we don't.
Okay.
Hopefully, in best case scenario, we have it fixed before they even know that the water's off.
Okay.
So, I mean, the close hopefully some people won't even recognize that their water was
Sure.
off during the night.
We certainly see, or at least I've seen anyway, that when we have the extreme cold weather and then it kind of
If
Okay.
you wake up and you see something on your front door, because same thing, we don't knock on doors typically. The next day at 8 a.m. we'll go around and knock on doors. But if you see a boil order tag on your door,
in the street.
Yep.
So let's next talk about what happens then for my service that goes into my house. And I think we're going to talk to Jake.
Jake
next.
sees, yep. If
It's basically our access point to get down to the valve that controls the water that goes in to your house.
Okay. So
The main box here, and this, what people don't see is it's about 7 feet long, and this takes you down to this valve.
Okay.
This is just our access point to get into this 6 foot long tube.
So this is coming from the center of the street.
No, this would be in your grass, your,
Oh, okay.
your sidewalk,
Okay.
wherever it just happens to end up at. Yep.
And so then from this valve or this cap to the house is considered my property.
Correct.
Of my
Yep. Half
issue.
half the valve
Okay.
would be your property.
Okay, so if I have a service leak, what would I see then?
Typically, like if it's in the grass, you're going to see a soft.
Darren said we call 911 or we call.
Yep, it'd be the same procedure. Yep, just give us a call and we'll come out and evaluate it and test to see which side the leak. The water off and the water stops, the water leak is on the homeowner's side.
Okay.
If we come out and we shut it off and we still hear water running, that means that the water is on the street side where the main is.
And you can tell all of that?
Yep, we can tell that, and the reason we can kind of tell is because we can physically hear it when we listen. We'll put a key down here, and we'll put a key on here, and it's loud enough you can hear that ringing through the metal.
So we really want it to be on that side.
You want it on our side.
So then how does that work then? What type of advice do you give homeowners that actually have a service leak that goes into their house then? Do you guys do the repair and then you bill us, or how does that work?
No, we do not do the repair. What we do is we have what's called a contractors list, and
Okay.
that is, anywhere from 5 to 10 contractors around. They're giving you a digging quote, and that's just to dig it up and to replace the parts. But what we actually do is when the contractor digs it up, they call us, we actually bring our ball valve out, and we put
Okay.
our ball valve on our side because we want our parts in the ground.
Okay. So am I without water then that whole time? Or
You will, not necessarily. If the leak isn't too severe, we will leave the water on, but
Okay.
if say the homeowner doesn't get it fixed right away and it becomes a problem, especially when it's cold, it gets
Right.
a lot of ice buildup, then we sometimes are forced to shut them off. So.
Okay. So these
What we have is when we put these in the ground, there's nothing there. There's no concrete, there's no nothing. It's not even a house, no foundation, nothing. So that's the problem. We don't know where the driveway is going to end up.
So you prefer them to be in the grass?
We prefer them to be in the grass just because of, if you can see on here, it's encased.
If it goes in the driveway?
If it goes in the driveway, if it's
Oh,
in the
okay.
concrete. And then you would have this on top of it.
Okay. So there are still some of those valves that are in the
Absolutely. And we will core drill it out. We will core drill it out if the pipe needs to be repaired. This one was broke. We will make that repair, and then we will put one of these in or one of these, depending on the situation.
Okay.
And our hope is that it alleviates any break
Okay.
down the road. Typically, that's after an operation, or if in the event that they have water in them and they freeze, they can leak then too.
Okay.
So
Look for the same type of thing.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. And you'll know. I mean, you don't even need to know where it's leaking at. If you see a leak, just report a leak so that
Okay.
we can determine what.
No.
9 times out of 10, it's due to the frost going
Okay.
into the ground and coming out of the ground.
Very good. All right, finally we're going to talk to Raleigh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so we were just talking about fire hydrants, and I know with maintenance folks, you would actually do quite a bit of work with our fire rescue team too, right?
Yes, that's
So what kind of
like a house fire or a building fire. We will go out there and check to see if the fire hydrant has drained. And if it has not drained, and we will do that at typically the following day.
Okay.
They'll let us know.
All right, so I'm a homeowner, and I turn my faucet on, and
That area is cold. You know, if you're shivering when you walk in there, let's try to figure out why. Also, if you're not really sure, you know, why you still don't have water, feel free and give us a call. We will stop out and look for free and investigate it for you and try to help.
okay, so there could be like a frozen service line or something?
There,
or-
it could be frozen, and in that case, we will use our thawer machine right here. We would come into your home, bring that into the basement. That silver tank on the back there heats up, and we will take the water meter off. We will then insert the black line.
Oh, what's the typical depth of frost in the wintertime?
Typically, we see it around 48 inches.
Okay, so we want to make sure that that service line, if it's less than that, it could very well freeze.
Exactly, it is
Okay.
possible. There is certain areas in town, just because we are in Sioux Falls and we do have the pink rock or granite.
Right.
In certain areas, it is shallow just because of that.
Okay, so you guys certainly keep busy during the wintertime.
Yes, very.
We just came from the streets, folks, where I know that a lot of your team here actually helps snow removal also.
Yes, there is 16 of us here at the water maintenance shop, and if we are not busy doing a water repair of some sort, we all help with snow removal, and our team is split, 8 of us on one shift and 8 of us on the other shift.
Okay.
So that way, if there is a leak that comes in while we are doing snow removal,
Sure.
we have appropriate staffing to make those repairs.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We are going to our lights division next.
Perfect, thanks.
All right, our next stop is at the Light and Power shop with Jerry, our supervisor. Jerry, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
So our lights guys certainly keep busy in the wintertime. Give us an overview what the majority of their time is.
In the wintertime, we do a lot of street lighting.
Okay,
We convert our street lights from the existing HPS lights to LED, and then we do a lot of accident repairs.
okay, so the LEDs, I love the LEDs. They're nice, they're bright white
Yes,
versus the yellow, right?
right.
Okay, so do we have a program to replace all of those?
We do. We do a yearly program based on how the budget allows.
Okay.
We're starting with the main streets at first, and then we'll be moving into residential areas later.
Okay, so how many streetlights do you have to maintain over the entire city?
Yeah, we're just over 20,000 streetlights now.
Oh, wow. And so how many of those are actually have been converted to LEDs?
Yeah, right now we're about 4,500.
Wow. So it's a multi-year program.
Many multi-years, yep.
And then what does that save for electricity usage?
Well, generally you're saying about 50% in electricity.
Okay.
That does not include the maintenance we do on them also. The LED is supposed to last about 16 years, where a regular light lasts about 4 years.
Okay.
So we have 4 less times to the light to make repairs.
Awesome. And so if I have a a street light that's out in my neighborhood, who do I call?
A better way is do the See-Click Fix through the city app.
Okay.
Or you can always give our office a call.
All right, so what other types of activities do our teams do here at Light and Power?
Also in the wintertime, we like to get into our neighborhoods. If we have requests for lights, streets that are dark, added lights that's needed, that's what we'd like to do in the wintertime.
Okay, and how about how many customers do we currently serve power to?
Serving power, about 2,900 customers right now.
All right, so do we do any work on that system in the wintertime?
That's a continuous project.
Okay.
We do a lot of the bigger construction projects in the summer, and then we do the little maintenance items in the wintertime.
Okay. So you are also in charge of traffic operations,
That's
right?
correct.
Okay. So just a little point of trivia, how many traffic signals then do we have in the city of Sioux Falls?
280 traffic signals.
Okay, and then how many of those are already LED converted?
A few years ago, we got them all converted, so
wonderful.
everything right now is LED.
So what do our traffic shop folks do then in the wintertime, besides taking care of, I suppose, bulbs that are out and items like that? What else do they do?
A lot of time in the winter, we like to do our yearly maintenance.
Okay.
So we would check our conflict monitors, we do certifications on the signals, make sure everything's working properly.
And then what about those, are they also in charge of street name signs?
Yep, street signs, all your stop signs, speed signs, street names, yes.
So those street signs are probably just like our light poles. They probably become targets when we have winter conditions, I suppose.
Yeah, they do get hit quite often, yes.
So we were at the water maintenance shop, and our folks there certainly help our streets folks on snow removal. Do your Light and Power and traffic maintenance operations folks also help with the snow removal system?
Yep, all of our employees are available for moving snow. We do keep one or two back in case someone likes to run over a street light or street sign, but everybody else is on the snow plows.
Wow, so we really have a united front to get those those streets clear of snow in the wintertime, don't we?
When it snows, that's our number one priority.
Very good. All right, well, thank you so much for your time. We're off to Water Rec next.
Thank you, Shannon.
Well, our last stop is with our water reclamation team, and we finally get to go outside in the nice cool weather. We welcome back to the show Tony Schneider. Tony, you've been on our show before talking about all the exciting things that you guys are doing. What are you doing out here today on this nice cold day?
Today we're cleaning the drainage channel.
Okay, and so why do we need to do that?
Well, this is the best time of year to do it because the channel's frozen, less impact, we're able to do a better job, and we need to clean out the silt and sediment so the channel drains like it was designed.
So how many channels do we get to clean out in a winter time?
Well, we try to do as many as we can.
Yeah.
We're kind of against the schedule of the Mother Nature and the snow events that we have. Our staff goes and helps with snow removal, so we try to get this work done in between snowstorms.
So then this is just dirt and silt that you're bringing out. Where do you end up taking it then?
We'll haul this material off to one of our disposed sites.
Okay, and so in the wintertime when you do this, do you have any? You have to let the property owners know. Are there ever any concerns from the property owners of any of the work that you're doing in their backyards?
Yeah, generally we'll let them know so that if they have any concerns or they want to give us some of what they've experienced, so we get their input. We usually do that.
Okay. So when do you guys typically stop doing this? Because I mean, right now it's in the middle or typically the end of the winter. Do you continue this drainage channel cleaning up until like April, May, or are you pretty much done by then?
It's generally the conclusion of this type of activity, but we'll try to do as much as we can year round. Anywhere that we can get access to a channel or a pond, we'll work on it.
Okay. So we've talked to many divisions today, and everyone is staying busy just with their normal activities. And then you also have lots of your staff that go and actually help with snow removal also. What is that number?
Yes, pretty much all of our staff helps in a snow event.
Okay. So it would keep you busy on all different directions.
Yeah. Winter is a busy time for us.
Oh, very good. All right, well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
So as you can see, Sioux Falls, we certainly keep busy in the wintertime, and all of our divisions work together, serving you. See you on the streets.